Hey everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. And today I'm joined again by Ash. Welcome, Ash. Nice to have you here.
Ivy, I am thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Good, good. Busy as always. And yeah, I'm happy to have another collab. It's so fun to talk about this stuff. It's nice to get some collabs rolling. People seem
Me
to like it
too.
too.
I love it. I love the collab, especially as kind of a, I don't know, like newer player. I don't consider myself like super noob status anymore since the first time that we collabed, but still learning my way through the game. But I'm loving it, man. I really dig this game.
Yeah, for sure. You seem to be doing really well with your YouTube. It's growing well, right? You're doing good?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like this game offers a ton for a game that's just starting out. It's funny because we used to talk about this, I know, for the last like 2 or 3 months, right? And you'd be like, people love it. And like, I saw your channel growth and like hit you up in the DMs. And so you've been kind of encouraging me to get started on it. And I feel like now that I should have even earlier, right? But hey, I'm here now. I got awesome teachers like you to help me out. So I'm just really, really digging the game and learning a lot every day. You know how it is, especially the first few months that you play a game like this.
Yeah, it's always
You feel like
exciting
you
and fun.
learn. Yeah, you look back at a week ago and you're like, oh my God, I thought that a week ago.
Oh
So
yeah,
like they
that's
just,
true. Yep.
the flood of info. Yeah,
Always those new mistakes which we need to help people avoid. And maybe part of
indeed.
avoiding those will be using some underutilized, underrated heroes, which is what we're going to talk about today. So, yeah, I thought it'd be a fun topic here to talk about the most underrated. It's so easy to just jump on the bandwagon and hate people just because you hear everybody else hates them. And I'm guilty, totally guilty. It happens all the time, right? It can't help it.
It's true. Like it's like the zeitgeist of the game, and it's like, yeah, they're trash and they're amazing, and you can fall into that too much, too quickly. I feel like, and we saw it with games we previously covered, and I think it's the beauty of these games is extrapolating value out of some of these heroes that everybody else says sucks. It's like one of the
Yep.
best things. You're like, dude, they're all wrong. I got it figured out right here.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, let's roll into it. Let's
All
go with
right,
some of our most underrated heroes. Ooh, all right. I'll start this
you
time.
gonna
Why
what?
not?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm gonna start with one of my OG favorites. One that I've always said is super underrated. My girl Valkyra here. I don't know if she's as underrated as she used to be. I think she was initially when the game launched. Extremely underrated because people were all obsessed with Zilla 2, and that was a 10 times event, and everyone wanted Zilla 2. So if they pulled Velcro, they were like, oh, I don't want her. Like, but she's actually amazing. Now, is she a guild boss goddess like Zilla 2? No. But I really love her. She's got this great range. And then when you awaken her, she actually adds another spot in front of her for her range as well. So you can position another defender or another fighter or two if you had to in front of her, and she can really do some good work stretching ahead to fight enemies, and her stuff even hits from the sides when she uses her ultimate. Like, she really impresses me in a lot of content. She does AoE damage as well, which is really great for even gear raid 1. I used her through gear raid 118 just fine even, and I'm really really loving Valkyra. Do you have any thoughts
I
on
love
her?
that. I don't because I don't have her. But to your point, I love when the fighters can extend multiple tiles. Like, it's so beneficial. And I don't know, I want her. So now, especially that you give the stamp of approval, the Ivy stamp of approval, I definitely, want to get my hands. Do you use her a ton? Is she like one of your most
Yeah.
go-to? Yeah. Like on every,
Absolutely. She's
yeah.
in every single type of progression I do, whether it be a new
Okay.
Void Rift stage, a new any of the new campaign stuff that I was stuck on and progressing. She's my go-to fighter. I always place her at a portal and then put someone like a Solde in front of her, because then a Solde can add extra block if anything gets through, or add a shield and help protect her anyway. And yeah, I really, and also she like revives someone who's in front of her. So like if a Solde dies, she can pop her back up. Like, it's really a
Oh, that's
great
OP.
pairing. She's
Yeah.
a really
That was my
interesting
next question
character.
is like, how do you use her or who do you use her with? And you already answered it, but that's
Yeah,
really cool.
exactly.
Who are your like go-to fighters on your account, would you say? Like
So
most used?
definitely, Velcro and Wrath, I would say I use the
Yeah.
most. Yeah, I
Okay.
have Valeria now, so I'm really happy for that. But I
Nice.
haven't really used her as much yet because I'm still kind of I'm always using Wrath for his aura, right? So
Yep.
if he's amazing and he has a good aura, I might as well actually use him. Why not?
Yeah. Do you have? I'm imagine you have him like fully awakened as well.
Yeah,
Or
he's awakened
yeah.
5, exactly.
Beast. All right, cool. Okay, for my first one, I'm going hard, Ivy. I'm picking one that I heard basically unanimous. You know how it is. You pull a legendary, especially early on. You look them up. You get the tier list. You want to see if you pull somebody good. And when I pulled this legendary, I was really disappointed. It was one of the first that I pulled, so maybe I have a little bit of a soft spot. But it's Ezreal, and I just hear everybody continuously hate on this dude, right? And I gotta say, again, maybe it's because he was one of my first legendaries, but my favorite thing is obviously he's a competent healer, right? So like he's a legendary healer. He has a pretty good heal, right? He has pretty good range as well. But my favorite thing is his enlightened breath, his auto. It's basically it heals the ally who needs it the most, and it covers the entire battlefield, right? So it could be like off in the side of the map or whatever, and I just know that he's kind of got their back as well, which is nice support healing. And I guess that's my favorite part about him. He's just like, I took him to level 50. I didn't fully max him or anything like that, but like he's a very competent healer. And like I said, my favorite part is that even with his range being pretty solid, he's got that boost ability as well that can help out in times of dire need. So yeah, he gets the job done, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm guilty of just jumping on the Ezreal sucks train.
Why do
I
people hate him
think-
so much? You tell me. You're the pro.
So when it comes to like single target heals, it's obviously less desirable. You'd hope that at least
Sure.
an ultimate is going to heal the whole team. I think that's a big part of it. And then when
Yeah.
it comes to single target heals or allies that have full heals, there's so many good epics that are great healers. So I think for me, it's the reality of, would I invest my legendary crystals in this guy to max him out over a really good DPS or someone else? Probably not. Like, I probably wouldn't. So when it comes down to it, it feels like the epics are just so much easier to max out. And once they are maxed, they're still probably better than him. But I do have to say, I agree that auto sounds a bit more busted, and I don't remember the fact that, it's any ally. That is probably a bit underrated and a bit, underappreciated.
I run him
that
with
sounds
Vortex.
great.
Yeah, I run him with Vortex as like my two main healers, and between Vortex insane range and his like helping out as well, they're really a robust tandem. But I do have to say that you probably win the debate because they're all very valid points. Like, had I not pulled him as my first healer and my first legendary, I probably, but even that being said, it's not like I'm throwing a lot into him right now, but he's still pretty capable as just without throwing a lot of skill stones or anything like that, or promoting him all the way or anything like that. So anyway, I like him. I think that maybe agree on like an average, not crappy, maybe legendary.
No, I think you're right. Like, especially this auto, I think this could really come in handy in some extremely hard content, like Chapter 9 stages of the new content in the Void Rift. Those annoying, like, if you get to where they start taking or corrupting the tiles, it's so hard to fight, and they just start killing everyone. So if he's far away from the damage and he's actually helping keep your damage dealers alive from afar, that might actually be pretty clutch. So good shout there.
Like the last thing on him too is that he's pretty robust and he can't take a ton of damage at the same time as well, a ton of burst damage. So you can put him in some situations in like those poison tiles or whatever as like a healer for the visibility. So, he's got some stuff, but
I like it.
Who you got next?
All right. I'm going to go with another legendary myself. I am going to talk about Azor. So I think he was like my second legendary. And or was he my first? He might have been my first. I don't know. Within my first day of playing, I think I got him.
Okay. And I think it was my third.
I was not excited because everybody hated him. And I knew he had gotten a buff on the Forerunner server. And that same buff eventually came to us. But with the buff, I knew people still didn't love him. So I was like, we got all excited. Oh, he's getting buff. I'm like, guys, he got buffed at the Forerunner server a long time ago and everybody still hates him. But I actually really utilized him well in my videos for his icy twin brother, Brokir, and Valeria. I did artifact material raid, and I was able to put him with defense stats and a crit rate glove, and he actually put out a bunch of actually no, I think I went full defense, but then getting as much crit rate and substats as possible. And yeah, I tried to let him do a little bit of damage, and he
DPS
surprised
defender.
me.
Yeah,
because I put him on the ends to protect one of my fighters who you want to be focusing the boss. You want the fighters to be attacking that Salazar. You don't want them turning around to attack. And of course, he is a tank, so he can actually block. He has a block of 3, so he can hold back. And then he was actually killing them all. Like, I didn't expect him to just be killing everything. Meanwhile, the other, like, his icy brother on the other side was just sitting there like an icy brick, not moving, but he wasn't doing any damage. Meanwhile, him on the other side was doing the same job, if not better, actually killing the enemies. So I think he actually pumps out enough damage worthy of maybe even 6-starring him and using him as a core hero to progress in artifact material raid if you haven't maxed it out.
Well, heck, maybe you're talking me into this guy. I have a super noob question, but, you know, as I told you the first collab, I'm not afraid to ask. But tell me a little bit about block. You know, like what is the best block? What is a good block? What is a bad block? And how does block work? If you don't mind.
So block is how many enemies are attacking before one breaks through.
Okay, got you.
Like,
and what would be like the best?
3 is like what the guys usually have, but some people have like things where they have extra block, or like what I love about Isolde is she actually gives, where is it? She gives extra block to the allies around her. So because she's adding extra block to the allies around her, that 3 goes to 4, so you can prevent 4 enemies from coming through and breaking to the next tile behind, you know, like where, you know, they can only hold so many back is kind of the thing, which is why, like, fighters are not as good, even though Abomination is tanky, he only has a block of 2, you know, like, he's not as good as a real defender. Or some of the fighters, I want to say some of the fighters had only a block of 1, but maybe I'm just remembering that wrong. Looks like everybody seems to have 2.
2,
but yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, it seems to be the norm. Oops, back out here.
All right. Okay, I've got Mari next. So she's a freebie, day 3, I want to say. And I have to be real, like Mari, I pulled a really, really new player mistake, and I invested in her. You know, I took her to level 50 or whatever, and then I just didn't. I guess in the early game, I didn't really need a lot of control. Like, it's pretty basic, right? You just DPS your way through the content. And then when I did need control, I almost just forgot that I had her, you know? And I'm just like, okay, but she has slow and freeze, great massive range on the ultimate as well. She's just an amazing control champion. And when I actually rediscovered how amazing Mari was when I was struggling and I hit a plateau on Gear Raid 1, and I just couldn't do enough DPS without them breaking through, you know? And then Mari came in and she had everything on lockdown for me. So I feel like sometimes by nature of getting freebies, like free champion, free heroes in any game, sometimes we can undervalue them. Not all the times, but I feel like Mari is a good example of that, because at least, again, in my case, she wasn't like super useful in the very, very, very beginning, but she had a lot of utility and still does to this day right now.
Yeah, she's one that I never built on my main account until more recently. And then I started using her at level 50 for Arena. Just even at level 50 is enough. Having that freezing crowd control just to slow the enemy down helps prevent them from attacking your crystal that you're trying to protect. So she can really come in handy there. And honestly, a Gear Raid 1, I agree. Like, that's kind of where I started using her for real. Before I even used her for Arena on my real account, I actually was using her on the test server when I wanted to do sample examples, I guess, of Gear Raid 1 Stage 18 with free-to-play friendly heroes. I have Mari in every single battle, only at level 50, and it's amazing how much she helps. Plus, with the freeze and the slow, if you have Aeon or Morrigan, they have that, like, enables all of their faction allies, which she's not a part of, but if they are under a control, like, like freeze or slow, then they do more damage. So Mari actually enables the rest of the team to do more damage if you have a very cultist heavy team like Iona or Zealous, or Aeon, Morrigan, Vierna. She can enable everybody to do more damage and be one of those main people that boost indirectly. But she's not a damage dealer herself. Like, she does not put out good damage.
And that's part of the turnoff, I feel like, for new players sometimes. It's like, they're like, no damage from this mage, get out of here. But exactly. But definitely further from the case in terms of her overall utility. And good point, too, about like the synergy that she has with other
you don't even think about it because she's not part of that faction, the Cursed Cult. But because they have this increases allies' damage when enemies are under stun, freeze, immobilize, or other control effects, she can actually be a booster for this faction, which is
great call
cool.
out. Yeah.
Oh,
cool,
boy.
cool.
So
who you got?
All right. So mine is a two-part. Let's see. Actually, let's go to the marksman. So I'm gonna call out a bit of a underrated, I guess, rare and advanced hero or two.
Okay.
So, Cuke, everyone knows is good. Yep. But also there is Cutter and Screef. So they are the same thing as Cuke as far as being able to be used as poison heroes for something like Guild Boss, especially the early stages. Just taking one of these guys and Cuke, you could bring both for that matter, to level 40. Now, definitely I wouldn't say over level 50, because they're going to be quite squishy for high stages of Guild Boss. But poisons are amazing in Guild Boss, and you will be surprised that they will be your best damage dealer over the best heroes on your account, just because of poisons for those first early stages of Guild Boss. Of course, I'm talking the very first, like 1 or 2 stages, maybe the third one, but it's really valuable when you're just trying to get started and progress, and you don't have to take them up high levels to take advantage of them. So that's really fun. And even for the other cheese being Artifact Material Raid, when you're doing up to stage 12 of Artifact Material Raid, there's that hero's path where you actually have to do stage 12. It makes you as part of the progress missions. And you can put on the block, there's 2 blocks in that one, and you can actually put one of them and a healer on the other one, and you'll just kill the boss so fast with the poison. It's just a fun little cheese. It
Love
works
the
really
cheese
well.
trats. Love the cheese trats.
So I think everyone forgets about them.
Yeah, my question for you is, so like where I am right now, does it make sense? So I'm like attacking, a hard nightmare, maybe nightmare 2 if I want to get super ambitious. Do you think that at this point the ship has sailed and I ought not to invest in these rares? Or do you think it's still worth having?
I think it's not really worth it for the sake of Guild Boss for you anymore because you're progressing beyond that point. But in Artifact Material Raid, if you haven't broken past the stage here where you still have the map with 2 spots, put the Poisoner on one of the spots, a healer on the other spot, and your normal like Baron or you have Regalis, put Regalis in the middle, let the boss come in, and now those poisons are gonna nuke the boss faster than your main DPSs are. It's really fun.
That's cool. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I am struggling on, it's not that stage level. Let me see. Where am I right there? I am, that is, where the heck am I? You know what? I think it is. Okay, so yeah, I beat, is that stage 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I beat it, but only not auto. So it's not 3-star or whatever.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
maybe
that might be a little thing to try.
To use.
And
all
just
right,
literally,
cool.
And put him in there with no levels, no gear. Oh wait, you can put attack speed gear. Just whatever is going to give you attack speed and nothing else. And literally just the poison will kill the boss fast.
We're going to give it a shot. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to give the shout to, it was during my collab with Mabucket on his channel. That's where he showed me how to properly draw in the boss. You would draw the boss in between the 2 tiles so you can attack them with multiple units. And then you use Cuke as the poisoner, or Screef, or Cutter. Cutter has a tiny bit better base stats. That's why I used Cutter. But yeah, it's a really nice little strat, and it makes it easy to farm and to push through.
Well, Cutter, here I come. We'll see. We'll see if that works for me. I appreciate it. Okay, my final hero is going to be actually on our first collab. I'll never forget, Ivy, you came on and you were like, you saw the heroes I had invested in, and I'll never forget the groan of dismay when you saw that I had invested in Calypso. You were like, no, you wasted all those resources. And while I grant you, she is no longer like my most used or anything, I got very lucky and I have a hat suit and a Setrim, and like there's been better options that have come my way. But you know, listen, I already invested in her, so she's built and she's built pretty well. And I have to say that, like, I mean, it really comes down to, it's probably obvious to people who have her, but if you get her down early, she stacks a lot of damage over time. So if she's a late unit that you place on the battlefield, then you're not going to be impressed at all, right? But her abilities, every 9 attacks, you can see it right there on Evil Power. You get extra damage at the longer that she's out there, the more she's attacking, right? So she can actually surprise in areas that are, you know, good for piercers, obviously. And as you're seeing here, like her awakening does get pretty, I forget, one of those is pretty, maybe
extra
it's the
rage. Even the first one, increasing her rage is pretty nice. Even just getting an A1,
she can definitely, I mean, is she S tier? No, but if you use her correctly and you get her out early, she can surprise with the amount of damage that she does. So I wanted to give a call out because you hated on her so much.
She was one of my first heroes too. And then there's my friend Dacery, who I always do summons for. And she got her very early as well. And then she got like 2 more dupes of her before she really got much else on her account. So she's like, we just hate Calypso.
Understood.
I think the problem is there's so many better, but there's still places you can use her. Like she might not be the end game gear rated 3 hero, but is she a solid option if you place her as one of the first in Arena? Yeah, for sure. I think she's probably a bit underrated for one of the first placements in Arena, especially as she ramps up over time. Like you said, that's really important. Definitely can use her.
I am a fan. Again, I don't use her as much as I used to, but sometimes you know how it is with some heroes, right? Sometimes like your most used heroes, you can use them in a certain situation, whether it's factions, faction wars or whatever. And you're like, whoa, like they can surprise you sometimes. And she definitely has that potential, as you say, as an early unit place. So
yeah, it's actually funny. They put late game as her tag.
I know. I saw that.
I was like, I never
That's her only tag,
right
just late game.
What do they think she's good for late game? I mean, I don't think
that's a great question for
maybe
you.
Arena, I don't know, but I can't see her being used in the really hard content like Void Rift stuff where you need more magic piercing damage because she's just a standard piercer and that's only light armor. So I don't know. Maybe we're all underestimating her for something the devs plan that we don't even know.
Maybe that's a great glass half full way of looking at it. Yeah, right. So there we go. Whatever the next content is, she's going to be SS tier. So that's why I'm really calling her out.
Exactly.
But that's cool.
Oh man, I think that's a pretty good list. I like it. We definitely threw in some commonly hated, but gave them reasons to be loved. I like it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm going to go ahead and build my little goblins and see if I can clear that artifact stage.
Yeah, the one thing about that too is Cutter. Yeah. So Cuke, who's the rare, who's easier to like, whatever. He might be better because he's the rare, but no, he actually throws down these traps, and if you place him early, he puts a trap in the way of where you might want to put your fighters, so he could actually hinder your progress.
Okay, good
so
note.
Using
good
Cutter
note. Thank
is
you.
actually better because then he doesn't do that.
Cutter is my man then. Thank you.
So guys, we are going to be doing a collab over on Ash's channel as well. If you haven't already watched that, stay tuned for some important beginner tips that everyone must know. But for now, that's all. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Ash, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
And we'll see you in the next video.